Good morning, Exchangers. The first thing that I want to start our week with is letting you guys know how awesome last week was, how great it was to see everyone jump into that first discussion board, start sharing your journalist bios. We had full participation across our team, and that doesn't usually happen. I think it's a really great sign. It's good energy to start our winter quarter together. I have replied to about half of you with some comments, some grading, giving you credit for your post and then your replies to others. And I'll be continuing that this morning, so be on the lookout if you're waiting for a more personal welcome from me and a chance for us to get to know each other. And that's my first order of business for hopefully today I can kind of wrap that up. Quick note that those grades don't tally into a final grade yet until we finish our pitches and pitch replies. Then I will release those grades kind of into the formal grade book so that you can see the credit that you're getting for this portion of the course where if you're doing the work, you're earning the points. Just keep enjoying, hopefully, that more relaxed way of approaching your learning space this early in the quarter. All right, let's talk about this week. This is one of the most exciting parts of our process together. You get to, if you haven't already, learn a little bit more about Exchangers Magazine, our mission, what our readers are expecting from us by reviewing the Pitches project link below. Your pitches are due by Thursday, so that gives you time to be creative, inventive, and curious starting now if you haven't started already, and giving you all the way until Thursday. You are going to post 3 pitches with possible hyperlinks and sources below each. These are 3 pitches to choose from. You might have a favorite, but it's still good to get the feedback from each other, fellow journalists, and also from me, because if we rank or order your pitches differently than you have, it might not be that your favorite idea isn't the best. It might be the way that you're presenting it could be strengthened, and these replies are going to help you figure out exactly what that might be and get a leg up as we move into the following weeks. So you'll post those 3 pitches by Thursday, and then by Sunday, you will reply to each other. There are really specific instructions for those replies to make them productive and helpful. And then next week, we'll deal with that later, but just so you can envision it, next week you're going to choose one, and that's going to be your one idea that you're going to turn into your project, your publication project for Exchangers Magazine for the whole of the quarter. So really tap into that part of yourself this week that knows what you're interested in, what's going to motivate you, what intrigues you, what might inspire you. And feel free to take some risks here. You know, in writing courses or spaces in the past, it might have felt stressful, like, oh, I have to do a really good job in order to not get docked in a grading system. That's not the kind of environment this is. This is actually an environment where authenticity, effort, passion, originality is going to be applauded. So I hope that you'll just hear the subtext in that and take the risk to write the thing that you actually want to write about. Within the confines of Exchangers Magazine, we take an exigence, a thing that is not as it ought to be, and we try to solve it. And we try to solve it creatively. We publish underdog stories that aren't being looked at everywhere else. And that's what makes the Pitches Project really fun to look at, is because it's triple the amount of ideas we'll move forward with, but it really, I think, gets us kind of curious and excited about what's out there to write about. Okay, a few more quick thoughts. I'm going to try to jump into Weebly and add some more content on the Pitches page, one thing in particular, but I'm just going to say it in case I don't get to it in time. Over the break, I started reading Positive.News. And there are other sites like it, but I'm just going to promote it in a small way. Positive.News pushes positive underdog news, that there are good things going on in the world. how can that fit with exchangers, that style of story? How could reading stories like that help us create something for exchangers? Because the kinds of stories they're publishing, even though they're presenting positivity and solution, the inherent is something's wrong. So it's a lot of looking to other countries, communities, cities, places in the world, people who are setting an example that makes us go, oh, it's possible to resolve that. What if we did that here? So then you could say, here is a problem, but there's hope. There's this, positive news over here that could be applied in this space. And it's just something I wanted to convey to you guys in this video way, because the news is really negative right now. And so doing this journalistic role playing, it might be really easy for us to fall into that same kind of tone or pattern, which is permissible. But if you're tired of that, I wanted to give you a heads up about a pathway that might feel a little bit more uplifting to you. And real quick, before I sign off, I would also like to give you some general advice ahead of time for the critiques that I typically give to the proposals. Number one thing I tend to say is that's not an argument, and we need arguable topics. So you have to be able to think a little bit, unpack your idea a little bit more to figure out, okay, what's wrong or what problem could this idea solve? You're not writing reports. You don't want to be informational only. So if you're really fascinated by a conglomerate of information, see if you can go a little bit further and dig into it and be like, oh, this information is important to solve this. Do you need my help as the editor? Reach out, be like, I love this stuff. I love reading and writing about this, but I can't find the problem and solution. Maybe I can help. The other thing is that I'll tell people it isn't underdog enough. It's too general. Those are two things that end up being kind of correlated. It's either too vague, too giant, too big, or too commonplace, too average, too I'm used to the story. How can you solve that? Typically by making it smaller and more specific. This is a very random example, but I was catching up with a friend over the weekend, and he's going to school for counseling, general, generic, good for the world, important, mental health crises, etc. He's like, but I'm really fascinated by aviation counseling. And I was like, what is that? And it's mental health support for pilots specifically, and the unique stressors that they experience in their jobs, and advocating for policies and workplace practices that protect pilots and their mental health, and looking at the essential work that pilots provide. And that's interesting, right? Do you see what I'm after there? Can you throw in a little, an extra lens that narrows something that's common and makes it feel fresh again? Chew on that, and stay tuned for my comments. I'm just really, really excited to be spending these weeks with you guys, and it is my honor to be your editor. Reach out if you would like more one-on-one support.